I probably shouldn't talk about this right here, but you know me. Let's chat. Welcome to the B3 Podcast. This is your host, Justin Morgan, here to help you build a better business, build a better community, and build a better life. Join us on this journey for today's episode. Let's get into it. So, one of my big goals, and I talked about this at in a podcast episode I did a long time ago, where I really highlighted what I was going to do this year. And one of the big things that I really wanted to get into is software. Now, I already knew I wanted to develop some software. I just wasn't sure how I was going to make it happen. Wasn't sure how I was going to get it done. And I wasn't sure when. Now, some of you are like, hey, how is this going to be relevant to me? You're talking about what you're doing with software. Hear me out, because I think it's really a conversation about time. Okay? When you really get to the core of this, it's a conversation about time and resources and using the resources that you have to the best of your ability. Now, as I get out here and I'm, continuing on this journey, this last month has been interesting in the way that it's been busy, in the way that there's been a lot of opportunity. I've had more sales calls this month about my brand than I've had, period. And that's a good thing. Like, I'm happy about that. That doesn't happen very often for me. So it's kind of a breakthrough time. That hasn't been perfect. Not everything pie in the sky, but it definitely has been nice to have activity, right? But then there's the flip side where it's nice to have activity, but that means there's activity. I still have a family, still have a full-time job, got kids. There's not a lot of time to do a lot of the things that I know I could be doing that would actually help my business. Like, I have a lot of cool ideas, but it requires some labor. And the more I do work, like I'm actually working on one of my newer clients right now, happy about that, is the more I do stuff, like I start learning these other things, I start finding other things I want to pick with and dabble with, because I know the more I get hands-on with this stuff, obviously the better I'll get. Right now, I'm already pretty good. I was going to get even better. I can charge even more. But the only way that will happen is if I'm actually doing the work. There's not enough time for all that. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I can leverage my time better to either A, bring in more clients, leverage my time better to bring in more revenue, or just find ways to charge more for, a smaller number of clients, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Now, one of the, obviously, solution 3 is charge more. That my other problem then is finding the right people to sell to. Right, so that's a whole other thing. Okay? Finding and leveraging my time better will require a different product. So either, growing out my group program, which I'm not really, I'm excited about the program. I'm not excited about other people getting excited about it. Like, I'm just not expecting other folks to get excited about it because of the nature of the program. Like, it's just a monthly membership to get access and training on technology. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would love that. I'm still trying to find them. Okay, right now the membership is still growing, so it's still fairly young. There's ways for it to go, and I'm looking forward to it. But it's not what I really, not where I am. And I think people are they're likely to. All the people that I speak to, they all want the work done for them. They just can't afford that price tag. And so the flip side is people always love buying tools. Whenever I talk to people, it's like, I just bought this, I bought this, I bought this. And so that's why I wanted to create software. And so for me, software would be a great leverager of time because, one, it's easy to trade for other things. Software is a very tangible thing to offer people for free, to get access to let them borrow, right? To lease, to if I need to get my foot in the door places and I have the software they need, I can give them access to it and get that foot in the door. Like, it's just a very good thing to have. And so I keep trying to find ways like, hey, how much will it be for me to develop software? And in some ways it's very expensive, but I thought of this company. This company is called, I won't put it on blast, actually. I would feel bad if I put it on blast. I'd like to put the company on blast right this moment. If you do want to know what this company is, share this out. If I get, let's say that if I get 100 plays on this episode, like within the first month, if I get 100 plays somehow, so that means you need to share this with people, right? Just share it everywhere. I'll let you know what company this is. If I get 100 plays, somehow if I get 100 plays, okay? But there's a company that has a lot of everything underneath their platform. And come to find out, the way they got all these tools is because they bought them, then they white labeled them, or they bought plugins from some popular sources that I understand and I know about. And so I'm telling myself, wait, if this company could do this, and this explains why it's so affordable, but why it also looks the way they did, like the way it does. My question is, why can't I do the same thing? So I started looking into it and, trying to figure out the dollar amount that it costs. And building out software actually isn't that expensive. If the base level software, right? So there's some parameters, right? It needs to be some type of cookie cutter software. I mean, it has to be existing, right? It's not going to be cutting edge, but you can add some cutting edge feature to it that maybe somebody else hasn't thought of, but you're going to want to find existing software. So you want to find like white label code software. That's what you want to look for, white label software, right? There's places, you can just Google it. A place called ThemeForest has a bunch of little plugins and pieces of software and code that you can purchase. So check those out. Fiverr is another place you can actually go and get some, maybe to get some source code from there on the cheap, or at least, compared to how much other pieces of software cost. Right? So that's something to consider. And that's where I am. I'm trying to figure out how I can make this happen sooner than later, because the faster I do it, the cooler things that I can make happen and the other opportunities I can open up because of leverage. So until then, now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what other ways can I make this happen? So right now, for instance, I have an active campaign account. I have a reseller active campaign account. So I'm trying to find ways that I can leverage my active campaign account and a discount that I can give people in order to get my foot in the door, or just to get some extra revenue in, right? Or maybe looking at some other similar situations and, creating some affiliate opportunities and doing it that way. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, just trying to leverage the time to get more revenue. And so I suggest you do the same thing. I think software is a great way to go if you're ready at that step. I'm in the tech software training business, so technology and having a piece of software under my belt, at least that I own. I've helped to get software together for the company I was working with for a while, but it wasn't mine to own. So I'm ready to have one that I specifically own and I run full time. So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully I can make that happen sooner than later. In the meantime, make sure y'all check that out. Take some steps on this. Shoot me a message if you have any suggestions for future episodes. I appreciate you and all that you do. As usual, make sure you share this with a friend, family member, or a foe, because they need this information too. I appreciate you. I will see you next time. And as usual, treat each day as a building block to a better future. Peace.